there's two categorization of properties. One property is called physical property, the other one is called chemical property. Let's start with physical property. A physical property are the characteristics of matter that is observed or measured without affecting its identity. So when you make that measurement, you do not change the identity of that substance. Examples of this are when you talk about the shape of something, the physical state, whether it's solid, liquid, or gas, its density, or its color. When you describe these things of a matter, it does not change its identity. So for example, if you have copper pipes, what are some physical properties you can say about it? You can say that it is a reddish orange color, it is shiny, and at 25 degrees it is a solid. You can also say that its melting point, and it has a boiling point, and it's an excellent conductor of heat and electricity. When you make an observation that its melting point is 1083 degrees, it does not change its identity. It could be a solid and then become a liquid, but it's still copper. And in that last example, we just touched upon what we call physical change. And a physical change is a change that does not involve changing the chemical identity of a substance. Again, for example, if you have a copper pipe and it bursts open, its shape has changed, but it's still copper. Some more examples here. If you take that copper and you melt it down, so from a solid down into a liquid, it has changed state, but it is still copper. Therefore, that is a physical change. And if you take that liquid copper and reshape it and reform it into copper wires, solids here, you again have changed its state, but not its identity, so that is a physical change. Opposite of physical property and physical change are chemical properties and chemical change. So a chemical property is a characteristic that describes the ability of a substance to change into a new substance. Examples of this are flammability, acidity, and reactivity. A chemical change is a change that results in a new substance with a new physical and/or chemical properties. Some examples of this are when you have metals tarnishing over time. That metal was once, let's say, iron, now it rusts and it becomes iron oxide. Notice that the substance is no longer the same. So that is the prime example of a chemical change. Other examples are sugar caramelizing. In sugar caramelization, sugar transforms into caramel. Or when oxygen is burning. A trivia question for you. Which of these images represent the true color of the Statue of Liberty when it was given to the United States by France? Yep, it turns out that the true color of the Statue of Liberty is the left image here. The true color of the Statue of Liberty in its original state was this golden color because it was coated by a layer of copper. Over time though, this copper tarnishes, reacting with water vapor and carbon dioxide in the air, giving us a new compound. And this new compound turns out to be a greenish color. So this is a chemical change. You no longer have elemental copper, but a copper compound, which is a new substance. Again here, we talk about sugar caramelizing and oxygen burning. Drawn here, can you classify each of these steps as either a chemical change or a physical change? Looking at the first chamber here, you see that there are two types of compounds. One is two red atoms and the other one is two blue atoms. Some kind of change occurred and this is the result. You notice that there are a new compound that is 1-to-1 ratio of the red and the blue. And then there's another compound here that is still the blue. And that's because this compound is left over here. As you see that the blue compound is in excess over the red. So how would you classify this change? Yep, this is a chemical change because you have created a new chemical compound. Very good. How about from this step to this step? How would you describe the change? In one chamber, I only see the blue compound, and in the other chamber, I see the blue-red compound. Okay, so this is a physical change because you have not created anything new. You basically separated the two molecules into two different chambers.